So welcome everybody to our functional fitness class. So if we haven't met, I'm Adra. I teach the functional fitness and the yoga that happens on Wednesdays. So just a reminder of what GoGo does. With one phone number that you see there at the top, you can get rides, you can get meals, groceries, medication delivery, and home services. And of course, you also have access to these fitness classes. So today is our strength class. So what we need today is a chair or a couch or something that you can use. We might sit on it. We might also use it for balance. You can also use a wall for balance if that's better. I recommend that you have something to pick up. So I have some weights. You could get anywhere from 1 to 3 pounds, or you could grab water bottles, you could grab cans, or nothing at all. You can still do all of the movements without weights, and you'll still get benefit. For our functional fitness class, most of the class is standing. Our yoga class, most of the class is seated. So just so you know what to expect. We have a lot of standing today. Next week will be yoga. We'll have a little less standing if that's what's better for you. But you're, of course, welcome and encouraged to modify, take breaks, take care of your body, and make this work for you. So that's it. Let's get going. I'm going to make sure that you can all see my screen. So if you cannot see my screen, you can't see my face right now, you're going to want to go to the top right-hand corner if you're on a computer, and there's something that says view. And you just want to make sure that you pick speaker view. If you have gallery, you'll see everybody else, which is totally great as well. Then you just can't see me as much, but maybe then you feel like you're more a part of the community. If you're on a phone, usually you have to swipe to make sure that you get my screen on there if it's not already. And I think that's it. I'm going to just close things off here. And let's get moving. So we'll start standing. Go ahead and stand. Feet are maybe 4 to 6 inches apart. Toes are facing forward. Arms resting down alongside the body. And then we'll inhale, circle the arms out to the side and then up towards the ceiling, just stretching tall. And exhale, hands lower back down. So it's up to you how high you go with the arms. If your arms don't go as high, that's totally fine. Inhale, arms circle out and up. And exhale, arms come down. One more time. Inhale, arms circle out and up. And exhale, arms come down. Go ahead and inhale, open the arms out to the side and stretch that chest forward. So it's like we're stretching the front of the body. And then exhale, round the back and give yourself a hug, wrapping your arms around your body. So we inhale, stretch the front of the body. You can stick your hips back as you pull your chest forward and look towards the ceiling. And then exhale, round your back and wrap your arms around your body. Give yourself a hug. Couple more times. Inhale as we open. And exhale as we round. Keep going at your own pace. So don't worry about my speed. Go at your own pace here. We're just warming up the spine and the arms. Maybe one more time. And then coming back to center, releasing those arms. Let's reach one arm up towards the ceiling and then side bend. So it doesn't matter which side you go, but whichever arm is reaching up, you're going to side bend the other way. Hold for a breath or two. And then lift yourself up. We switch other arm up to the ceiling and then side bend. Holding for a breath or two. And then back to center. Let's take our arms into a cactus position or goalpost position. So elbows are bent 90 degrees. We'll bend the knees. So little baby squat there, just a very small bend. Knees stay still. We twist just the upper body. So rotating the spine, but try and keep your lower body still. So it's the torso that's rotating, not the hips. And then making your way back to center, releasing the arms. Let's take the feet a little bit wider. So now the feet are about as wide as your shoulders or a little wider. Toes can either face straight forward or you can turn them out a little bit. So whatever is comfortable on your body. I'm going to turn sideways. You can just stay facing your direction. We'll inhale, bend the knees into a squat. Reach your arms forward. It's up to you how low you go. And then exhale, straighten the legs. Arms come back down. We inhale, bend the knees, hips go back, arms reach forward or maybe even up towards the ceiling. Exhale, come back up. Keep going at your own pace. So we inhale down and exhale up. See if you can keep your feet fully grounded. So sometimes here, a part of the foot wants to peel off of the ground. And see if you can continue to press down into your feet evenly. It's up to you how low you go. If you start to get tired, make these smaller, no problem. Listen to your body. See if you can keep that weight even, right to left, so that you're not shifting to one side or the other. Couple more times. All right, next time your legs are straight, we'll go ahead and pause, heel toe those legs back together, and you can shake it off. We're gonna move to our chair. So we're gonna move to sit at our chair towards the front edge. So you can do this on your couch, on your chair, whatever you have. Just make sure that there's plenty of room from where your back is to the backrest. So you're not way back here because we're gonna do some core work. And if you're back there, then you're not gonna get those abs working. So feet are planted. You have plenty of room behind you to move back. We're going to grab opposite elbows or cross your arms in front of your chest. So whatever is more comfortable. We'll inhale, lean back. And then exhale, do a sit up. So if that felt really easy, you need to move further forward away from your backrest. If it felt really hard, you can scoot yourself back a little bit. We inhale, lean back, reach for your backrest, and then exhale, sit up. Keep going at your own pace, really trying to get the breath here. So our exhale can help our core engage more optimally. So that's why when we sit up, so from the back up, we want to exhale. So inhale as you lean back, exhale as you sit up. A few more times. Trying not to use momentum or bounce. A couple more times. And the next time you're sitting up, go ahead and pause. And we'll rotate our spine. So twisting your spine, taking hands on either side of one leg or onto your armrest. And then rotate the other way. Okay, we're gonna warm up our feet and our ankles. So we'll start by stretching your right leg forward in front of you. Our legs are also gonna work, so those quad muscles will feel this. And you'll circle your right ankle one direction. So you're finding a nice circle here. And then circle the other way. Really trying to make the ankle do the movement, not the lower leg, not the thigh. It's just the ankle, the foot moving. Go ahead and release the right leg, and we switch sides. So left leg straightens in front of you, circle the ankle. And again, the leg isn't moving, it's just the ankle and the foot finding this circular motion. And other direction. And then relaxing the foot. We'll go ahead and point the foot. And we're going to see if maybe I'll zoom in for you to see what I'm doing here a little bit more. We're going to, it's from your seated position. We're going to try and go on top of the foot. So we're pointing the foot and then trying to stretch the top of the foot. Now be really gentle with your body. So if this feels like too much, then don't do it. Or do less, right? So, and if you're on shoes, maybe you can only just have the tip of the shoe there. We're trying to stretch this area here. So pointing the foot, maybe the tops of the knuckles, top of the foot can find the ground, maybe not. And then bring that leg back down and we switch sides. So we're going to point the other foot. Maybe it's just the tips of the toes there, or maybe that top of the foot or top of the toes can find the ground. You keep going. I'm just going to readjust my video. It's noticing, does this feel tight? Where do I feel it? How does the right side compare to the left? Great. And then go ahead and release and make your way up to stand. Be mindful how you do it. So think about this as a squat and find your weights. Make your way up to stand and we find our weights. We'll do a little upper body and then we'll move back down to our lower body. So starting really simple, we're going to do hammer curls. So hammer curls, our palms are facing towards each other instead of out. So oftentimes we do biceps with the palms facing out. This time we're going to go palms facing in. So just bend and straightening. Try and keep your elbows relatively still. So of course they're bending and straightening, but they're not swinging. There's no swing here. So what I'm doing right now is not what you want to do. You want to keep your elbows in the same spot as you bend and straighten. If it starts to get tiring with your weights, you can always drop the weights or alternate. Do one and then the other. So totally fine to modify. Next time your elbows are bent and your hands are by your shoulders, you'll pause. Then we do an overhead press. We press the arms up towards the ceiling. It's up to you how high you go. It's okay if you can't straighten your arms. And then go ahead and bend. So we'll do some overhead press. Watch your rib cage here. So we want to keep the ribs still and the spine still. And just move the arms up and down. So the shoulder blades will slide and glide on your back. And the arms will move, but you're trying to keep your torso pretty still. Keep going. I'm just going to try and show you what we're avoiding. So what often happens with overhead press when it's hard is we start to back bend. So I'm showing you what not to do. We don't want it to turn into a back bend. We want to keep the pelvis and the rib cage still and just the arms pump up and down. All right, there's probably enough of that. Let's go ahead and lower the arms. Take a moment, you can kind of shake it off, do some shoulder rolls. And we're going to combine those movements. So we do the bicep curl, overhead press, and back down. So we bicep curl, press overhead, bend the elbows, lower the hands. Bicep curl, overhead press, bend the elbows, and lower the hands. Keep going. Again, at your own pace, you can always alternate. And watch what that rib cage is doing. So you want to try and keep the ribs and the spine still. You do this and move just the arms and the shoulder blades. Your neck is relaxed, your jaw is relaxed, and your breath is smooth. Sometimes helpful to link your breath to the movement. So inhaling one direction and exhaling the other. A few more times. Hopefully your heart rate's getting up a little bit or your arms are starting to feel it. At any point during this exercise or any of the others, if it's feeling easy, you can try and imagine that you're moving through something sticky. So moving through honey, moving through peanut butter, or moving through water, something that gives you resistance, and that will make it harder. Let's finish up one last one, and then take a break. Go ahead and put the weights to the side. Just be mindful of how you move your body when you're putting things down, that you're not twisting too much or bending in a funny way. And we'll take our legs out wide now. So wider than the squats that we did earlier at the beginning to warm up. We're going much wider than our shoulders. Toes are going to point out. Knees are going to follow that. So that rotation is coming from our thigh bones, rotating in our hip sockets, not just the feet. And then go ahead and bend those knees. So we call this a sumo squat. And then straight. So we bend and straighten. So you can do this without your weights. If you really want your weights, you can hold them, but our weights are pretty light. And so they're not likely to create that much more challenge for our legs. But that's an option. You can always hold your weights if you want. Up and down. Think about really pushing down into your heels as you rise. Keep pushing your knees out, especially on your way down. Let's add some breathing. We inhale down, we exhale up. You're all doing awesome. I love that I can see so many of you moving with me. Couple more times. And as a reminder, you can take a break at any point. So if at any point your body needs to pause, totally fine. All right, next time we're in the down position, we'll hold. And little pulses, down and up, really small. If that's too much, do less. Or lift your torso up higher, or lift your legs up higher. Couple more. And straighten all the way. Heel toe or step those feet back together, shake it off. We'll give our lower body a little break and come back to the upper body. For this exercise, you're going to want your weights and your chair or something to place your hands on. So I'm going to stand in front of my chair and place my hands on the seat of the chair. So you could do this on, if you're on a couch, I would say probably more the armrest of the couch if that's possible, versus the seat of the couch, because usually couches are a little bit low. And you could also do this on a table. If you're on a table, maybe it's your forearms instead of your hands. So we're going to plant the left hand on your chair, couch, table, or left forearm if you're on a table, and grab the weight with your right hand. And depending on your shoulder strength, you could grab one of your weights or you could grab both in your right hand. Especially if you have 1 or 2 pound weights, you might be able to fit both in your right hand. You can soften those knees, so it depends on how tall you are and how tight your hamstrings are. You can always bend those knees a little bit if that creates more comfort. We're doing rows here, so we're going to bend the elbow, that right elbow, up towards the ceiling, pulling the weight close to your torso, and then slowly, with control, lower the arm or straighten the arm. So we bend and straighten. You want to think about the shoulder blade doing a lot of this movement. So that flat bone that sits on our back and attaches to our arm bone or our humerus bone is first squeezing towards the spine and down, and then the humerus or the upper arm bone begins to move. So we should feel this towards kind of middle upper back region. All right, let's go ahead and switch sides. If you need to, you can lift your torso up for a moment, especially if your spine felt a little funny there, or your hamstrings need a break, the backs of the legs need a break. And then we come forward again and switch sides. Now the right hand is down and the left hand grabs the weights. Again, you can do this with one weight or two or none at all. So make this work for your body today. We squeeze the shoulder blade towards the spine. So left shoulder blade pulls towards the spine, and then we bend the elbow. Elbow goes towards the ceiling, and then arm straightens. So we're bending and straightening that left arm, moving that shoulder blade, but try and keep your torso pretty still. So the rib cage isn't moving, the spine isn't moving. It's the shoulder blade and the arm moving on the rib cage. Notice how this side feels compared to the other side. And go ahead and put your weights down, lift your torso up, shake it off. Then we're going to go into some tricep extensions back into our position. If that position is getting too uncomfortable, you could also do a squat and lay forward. It's just a lot more work on the legs. So I'll show you both versions. For tricep extensions, generally one weight will be plenty. So I'll show you first the option that we were doing with the hand on the chair. So left hand is on the chair, knees are slightly bent if that's comfortable, your torso is long. We do that row first to get us set up. So we bend the elbow, and then we straighten the arm towards the sky, and then we rebend the elbow. You're going to leave the elbow up. So that elbow stays in its position, and then we straighten the arm, pinky reaches towards the ceiling, and we bend. So this is the option with the left hand on the chair. If you don't want to do that, you can take your knees into a little squat and have your hand on your thigh. Right, so just a different option, especially if you have wrist issues, or if you want to work your legs while you're working your arms, then this is a great alternative. And we bend and straighten. You should feel this in the back of your arm. If you're not feeling it in the back of the arm, it may be that your elbow is too low. You want to make sure your elbow is, if possible, at least at the height of your torso, if not a little higher or closer to the ceiling. All right, let's take a break. Bring the arm down, the torso, a couple shoulder rolls. All right, we have the other side to do. So same two options. We're going to grab a hold of our weight. Right hand on the chair or your support. We start with the rows. We bend the left elbow goes towards the ceiling, and then we straighten and bend the arm. You want to keep that elbow still or in that same position in space. So there's no flopping around, there's no momentum. And again, you have the same option to go into more of a kind of squat or chair-like position and have your hands resting on your thigh, your right hand resting on your thigh, so that you're putting less pressure on the hand. It's usually a little bit more pressure on the wrist when we have the hand on the chair. A few more. If you need to drop those weights, you totally can. Okay, and then release, shake it off. We're almost done with this section. We're going to now combine those two movements that we've just done. So the row to the tricep extension. You could do this again. You could do this in that mini chair row tricep extension, or you can do it with the hands or with a hand on your chair. So let's do it. Grab a hold of your weight with your right hand. This will probably be just one weight if you try to do the two weights for the rows. But since we're combining triceps and the back, we'll want just one weight. Left hand on the chair or forearm on a table. Let's let that right arm dangle. We bend the elbow and do our row. So we're squeezing the shoulder blade towards the spine. And then we straighten the arm into our tricep extension. We rebend the elbow and lower the arm. So we row, tricep extension, bend, and lower the arm. We bend the elbow towards the ceiling, we straighten the arm, we rebend the elbow, and then straighten the arm down towards our toes. Keep going. Let's do one or two more. And we release. Come on up, shake it off. Maybe some shoulder rolls. And then we'll switch sides. So hand comes back to the chair, knees are soft, arm dangles. So right hand on the chair. Now we're holding the weight with the left hand, or do whichever side you haven't done. We start with the row. We bend the left elbow. Elbow goes towards the ceiling. Then we straighten the arm for our tricep extension. We rebend and then lower the arm down alongside your body or slightly forward. We row. So we bend the elbow. Shoulder squeezes towards your spine. Elbow stays high as you straighten your arm. Pinky towards the ceiling. Rebend the elbow and then straighten the arm down towards the ground. Keep going. We row. Tricep extension. Keep going. Follow your own pace here, so don't worry about my speed or anybody else's. Maybe one more here. And then release. Put your weight down. Lift up. We are done with those. Shake out those arms, and we're going back to our lower body. We're going to do some side lunges. We probably haven't done these in quite a while, if at all. So what you might choose to do is stand behind the chair. I'm not going to do that because I want you to be able to see me and see what I'm doing. But if you need support, you could have your hands behind. So I'll just like show you, you would stand behind your chair so that you can grab a hold just in case. You'd also have a table in front of you just in case. You're going to take your legs wide again. So wide, like when we were doing those sumo squats or those wide squats. Toes are pointing out. Knees are also pointing out. You don't need your weights unless you want them. We're going to bend the right knee. I'm going to mirror you. We're going to bend the right knee. Hips go back. You lean your torso forward. And then you lift your torso back up. So the left leg is straight. Let's go to the other side, and I'll show you a different view in a second. So we bend the left knee. Hips go back. I like the hands in front of the body. I don't know why. It just feels comfortable. Your hands can go wherever. And then come back up. I'm going to show you from the side. We bend and watch how those hips of mine are going back and my torso is coming forward. It's not forward, it's not like this. So we really want to sink back, get the weight into that right heel and up. And then other side, we bend the left knee, hips go back, weight goes into that heel and up. So we keep going here, alternating side to side. These can be extremely challenging. I've been doing these for a long time, so I have pretty deep range. If this is too much, make it smaller. It does not need to be big. If this is easy, maybe grab those weights. But watch that those hips really go back behind you and your torso can come forward to counterbalance the weight of those hips. You might feel an inner thigh stretch as you do this. Let's just do a few more. Even yourself out so you've done the same right to left. And come on up, pull those legs together, shake them off. Okay, now we're going into some lunges. Also a great time to have your chair. I'll do this one with the chair. So we'll have our left hand on a table, on a chair, on a wall. So left hand on something to support you. You might choose to bring your hand off later, totally fine. Right foot steps forward, left leg steps back. Feet are really, it's up to you how wide or how long you make this. So some people are going to find that you only want to be a foot apart. Some are going to find that you want to be 3 feet apart. It's up to you. We're going into some lunges. So use that hand on your support, left hand on your support, right leg in front. We're bending both of our knees and lowering down like an elevator, right? Your torso is upright. And then we straighten the legs. So we bend and straighten. So if this is super intense, either you make it much smaller or bring your legs closer together. Your feet don't need to be super wide apart. Think about that right heel pushing down into the earth as you rise. So you're thinking about grounding into the ground as you come up, as you straighten your legs. Few more. Next time your knees are bent, we're going to hold for 10. 9, you can even pulse if you want. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hand back to your support if you let go and step forward. Back foot meets your front foot. We're switching sides. So you're just turning around. Right hand finds your support. So wall, chair, whatever you have. So right hand is on. Left leg steps forward. Right leg steps back. Again, it's up to you how long of a stance you have. So maybe it's a foot, maybe it's 3 feet. Also depends on the length of your legs. Back heel can come off the ground. All 10 toes face forward. We bend the knees, torso stays upright, and we straighten the legs. We can inhale as you go down, exhale as you come up. Keep going at your own pace. And remember, it's up to you how deep you go, how long your stance is. Make this work on your body, make this be safe. There's no point in overdoing it and then injuring yourself, because then you can't continue to do your exercise or just daily life activities. So listening to your body, paying attention to what feels right for you today. And what works today is not the same as what worked last week or yesterday or what will work next week, right? Our body changes and can be really affected by our sleep, our stress levels, our nutrition. Just know that every day is different. Next time you're in that down position, we're going to hold for 10. You can pulse or be still. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Grab a hold of your support with the right hand and step forward. Back foot meets the front. Shake it off. Okay, we're going to grab our weights and do a little combination here. We're going back into those side lunges that we just did right before these front lunges. So those side lunges with the leg wide, but we're going to use our weights in a moment. So we'll start with the elbows bent, and the hands can either rest by your shoulders or close together, whatever feels better. And you'll decide once we add extra movements what feels best. Toes point slightly out, legs are wider than your shoulders. We're going into that side lunge. So we'll bend the right knee, hips go back. And then you'll straighten the right leg and straighten the arms up towards the ceiling. We re-bend the elbows, and now we go the other side. So hips go back to the left, torso comes slightly forward, and then we straighten the left leg, and then straighten the arms up to the ceiling once we're in the middle position. Bend the elbows. So it'll feel more natural as you move a little faster. So we bend the right knee, hips go back. We straighten the right leg, arms go up. We lower the arms. We bend the left knee, hips go back. We straighten the left leg as the arms come up. Arms begin to lower as you bend your right knee. Arms rise as you straighten your right leg. Arms lower as you bend your left knee. Arms straighten as you straighten your leg. Keep going. If you need a break, you can stop the overhead press. You don't have to keep pressing, right? The arms can just stay down. You could also lose the weights. Plenty of work without the weights. Let's do even yourself out so you get the same right to left. And once you've done that, go ahead and lower the arms, put the weights down, catch your breath. And we'll be moving into some balancing. So this is a nice time to have your chair or your wall. We're going to stand on a balance beam or a tightrope. So you'll step your right foot directly in front of your left. Your back toes are pretty close to your front heel. So your feet are no more than an inch apart. So your right leg is in front, left leg is in back. You're standing on a tightrope. You're still holding on. If this is already challenging for you, you could stay here, or to make it a little bit easier, you can turn your toes out or away from the middle of the body. So the right toes can point slightly to the right, left toes can point slightly to the left. So that's to make it a little bit more balanced. If not, all 10 toes face forward for more challenge. Start to lighten how hard you're holding on to your chair or your wall. Maybe you do just a fingertip or two. Maybe you hover your hands over your chair or the wall, right? So you can grab on at any point, but maybe you're letting go. Make sure you're being safe, but challenging yourself just enough. If you still need challenge, I recommend that you very mindfully close the eyes. But the moment you start to find that you're going to wobble or maybe you're going to fall out of it, open your eyes. But you have the option to close the eyes for more challenge. Don't do that if this is already hard. We don't want to have a fall. Great, hands come back to the chair. And we'll switch. So step that left foot forward, right leg goes back. We're standing on our tightrope or balance beam. For more challenge, all 10 toes are facing forward. For a little more support, the toes can point out slightly. First, finding your balance with both hands on the chair. And then begin to lighten how hard you're holding on if you want a little bit more balance difficulty. Maybe it's just a finger or two. Maybe you're hovering the hands. You also have the option to close the eyes, but only doing that if that's safe. And if you start to lose your balance, just open the eyes. Smooth breaths. And then go ahead and release, stepping forward, back foot meets the front, shake it off. And we'll inhale, circle those arms out to the side and up towards the sky, reaching tall. Exhale, arms lower back down. 2 more times. Inhale, arms circle out and up. Exhale, arms lower. Last time. Inhale, arms circle out and up. And exhale, arms lower. And give yourself a hand. Great work, everybody. So nice to have you back here in the new year. So we will have a move of the week. If you're new, we often give you a move of the week to try and remember for our next session. It is not for yoga next week, but it's for the week after that. We give a prize for the people who remember, or the first person to remember the move of the week. But we're asking for new people to win. So we want lots of new people to win the prize of the new move of the week. So this week's move is overhead press. We did a ton of that today. So what I recommend is that throughout the week, you try and, bake in some overhead press. A good time to do it is every time you walk through a doorway, you reach those arms overhead. Working on that mobility and that motion of the arms is so important. So that's our move of the week. You want to remember it not for next week, but for the week after, for our next functional fitness. So great to have you. Happy New Year. If you have questions, now is your time to ask. And if not, I will see you next time. Yeah, so just a reminder, next week is yoga. Wonderful to have you there too. It's more seated, less intense. And you can always go to our YouTube channel. A lot of these classes are recorded so that you can join and enjoy them. All righty, well, I hope to see you next week for yoga. If not, the week after for functional fitness. And have a wonderful rest of the week. Bye, everybody.